So, after finishing Titans, I can officially say, holy shit, this show is pretty goddamn awful. I'm sorry to say that, because after the first half of Season 1, I had high hopes. They had some cool setups and could do a lot with the show, but they just threw it all away, flushed it down the fucking drain. And it hurts me. Call me a Marvel fanboy, but I'm not going to sit here and support whatever the hell it is they're doing down at the Warner Bros. Studios. This show has so many problems, I don't even know where to start. The editing is sloppy, the writing is repetitive and boring, the characters feel hollow, nothing feels like it carries any type of emotional weight. Every scene feels like it has a part missing, and things just don't make sense overall. I mean, it would be one thing if the show had maybe one or two of these problems, but it has all of them. First, let's talk about the awful editing of Titans. The editing is just sloppy. There are too many jump cuts, and it feels like there are huge segments of episodes missing. The characters are constantly jumping from location to location. Look at this scene from episode 5.
Okay, in order to work together, fight and defend yourselves like a coordinated team, we gotta see what each other can do.
They went from a motel to a barn somewhere. Not only that, but Dick just repeats himself twice, saying that they need to know each other's powers. The show does this a lot, jumping from one scene to the next. I mean, those really are the only editing problems. It's just really sloppy and way too jumpy. There's also this awful blue tint that I didn't notice until I watched High Top Films' The Mystery of DC's Titans, which I highly recommend you guys should watch. It's a great video. Now let's talk about the biggest problem with Titans, the characters. Out of all the characters, I was hopeful that Dick was going to be good. Because Brendan Thwaites looked so good as Dick Grayson, and he's a pretty good actor, but what sucked is that I can't blame Thwaites, because his acting isn't the problem, it's the writing. Dick is the protagonist of Titans, and really the only character that gets any type of development whatsoever. You'd think that if that was the approach the creators were going to take, they'd at least try to give Dick an interesting arc, but they failed, big time. Every episode, we get Dick saying how much he hates being like Batman, and then the next 40 minutes are Dick being a brutal killer like he claims Batman is. He constantly makes progress in his arc, and then the next episode, that progress is taken away. In episode 7, Dick realizes that he is the one to blame for his violence, not Batman. He burns the Robin suit.
You gonna watch till the bitter ends, or are you ready to get out of here?
From there, you'd think his arc would be over. For the last few episodes of the season, he works to figure out who he is, and maybe the focus shifts to a character other than Dick. And it looked hopeful when Dick left the Titans, even though that choice in and of itself was a bad one, and went to find Donna Troy to help him find out who he is. But then, he just reverts. By the end of the season, we're right where we started. I'd even argue that by the end of the season, Dick Grayson has regressed from the start, with Dick now having fully embraced his darkness, which was supposed to have been burnt with the Robin suit 4 episodes ago! Another problem I have with Titans is that they make Dick a murderer for no reason. Dick Grayson, Nightwing, Robin isn't a killer, and just like Batman, his ability to hold himself back from murder is what makes him an interesting character. But the writers seem to disregard that fact, because they want to make a dark TV show. It would be one thing if sometimes Dick got too violent, but to make Robin a killer is to betray the character. And I might be able to just let this go if any other main character got any type of development. I mean, Hawk and Dove get some development, but they're not main characters. I mean, just like with Dick, I feel like almost every character has regressed by the end of the season. Raven is still afraid. Beast Boy, well, he was basically just his side character. Who gives a shit about him? Even though I liked him the best out of everyone. Starfire, the second most hollow character on the show, only slightly less hollow than Beast Boy, is the only one who gets any type of development, and it all happens in a matter of 10 minutes. And her character arc doesn't make any sense anyway. Why did she try to kill Raven when she remembered who she was for a second, but then try to protect her when she remembers who she is fully? Why was she in Russia? What made her lose her memory? It makes no sense, and I feel like Beast Boy, Raven, and Starfire are just background characters in this show that should have been called Nightwing. This isn't a Titan show, it's a Nightwing show. And honestly, I have no problem with that. But don't call the show Titans and have it actually be Nightwing featuring his amazing friends. The writers use these big-name characters like Jason Todd, Donna Troy, and Connor Kent just to keep people interested with a cameo. None of these characters are fleshed out or even written remotely well. Let's use Jason Todd as an example. When Jason shows up, he goes from maybe being a little fucked up in the head to holy shit, he's breaking cops' backs for no reason. Now you might say, well, he becomes the Red Hood, so they have to make him violent. And to that I say, absolutely not. Jason needs to be slowly eased into the Red Hood. The episode actually started out looking pretty good. It was pretty clear that Jason might have had some screws loose.
Hey.
My bad. Thought it was mine. Let me buy you another one.
It wasn't my drink.
What the fuck are you doing? Sorry, Mumford. Did you say something?
Do you want me to kick your ass?
I want you to try. Shit. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Back the fuck off. We got this.
Chase!
But yet again, the writers fail. They make Jason go full fucking psycho and he beats the shit out of some cops and then breaks one's back. It's unreal how they screwed it up so colossally. They could have given Jason time to develop into the Red Hood, but instead they just said, fuck it. Let's just make him go from having a few screws loose to breaking cops' backs. Because we don't give a shit about the characters we're working with, and we will do as we please, even if we ruin a character that could have very well had a cool and interesting arc. And now you might be saying, but they can still give Jason his Red Hood arc, right? Well, no, they can't. Not effectively, at least. Part of the shock value that comes from finding out that Jason Todd is the Red Hood is that Jason was never a killer. He might have been kind of weird, but he wasn't a killer. And he didn't deserve what happened to him. He didn't deserve to die. But with this Jason Todd, I don't give a shit if he dies, because I feel no sympathy for him. In this DC universe, I guess, Jason Todd deserves what happens to him. I mean, they even acknowledge this fact in the final episode where Jason is crippled.
Jason, what happened?
God, I was stupid. Totally my fault. The Riddler and some guys were hitting jewelry stores late at night. Batman and I staked one out, caught him coming in. Should have gone down real simple, but I got too cocky. Big surprise. Went straight for him. Thought I could take him down on my own. Do you know how the Riddler never uses a gun? And well, now he does. Bullet hit my T5 vertebrae. It's still there.
Jesus. I'm sorry.
Gotham's gotten worse, man.
Jason Todd deserves to be treated with respect as a character. The writers don't give any character any respect whatsoever. The writers don't care what makes these characters great, and that's ultimately why Titans falls flat. Now, all that being said, I still hold out hope for Season 2, and I hope it lives up to every expectation I have. If the show could just fix the problems with its lack of character development and poorly written characters, then it would be a really great show. Thank you guys for watching. The next video is going to be my second mess or masterpiece video, I guess, on Young Justice Season 3. I didn't even realize that the first half of the season was already done. So that Masterpiece Part 1 comes out next week, and I'll be talking about the history of the show itself. Then after the second part of Season 2 releases later this year, Part 2 will be released. Anyway, thank you guys for watching again, and I will see you next week.